here's what the media does, okay? It starts off with a shadow of a fact. For example, Belize, okay, that I was wanted for murder. At no point was I ever wanted for murder, charged with murder, or even suspected of murder by the authorities. I was merely a person of interest, right? So were every one of my neighbors. Every one of my neighbors were taken in and questioned. I simply chose not to be taken in because I had a history with the government where we had been at war for about a year. I was under
You in the Belize government?
Pardon?
I said when you said you. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, the government of Belize, with the government of Belize, over a whole bunch of issues. Okay, mostly over the fact that I had poured millions of dollars into the interior of Belize to the poor villages where children literally do starve still. Arming police, because in Belize they don't issue guns. You have to buy your own. Well, no one can afford a gun, for heaven's sake. So I put millions. The government came to me and said, sir, you're being taken advantage of. You don't understand our customs, our culture, our scam artists. Give the money to the government. We will distribute it for you. Well, you know what that means. I give you $40 million, 39 goes in your pocket.
Oh wow!
I said, get the fuck off my property, and that began the real war. So anyway, long story.
That is, yeah. I mean, that's interesting to hear your side of what happened because I mean, I don't know anything about Belize as a country, so when I just hear it's some country that's a little bit more poor in South America, I figure that it's possible that the government could really be kind of have evade a lot of attention, unlike if there was that kind of corruption in the United States. Um, the guy who got killed, apparently poisoned 9 of your dogs or all of your dogs. What was that like when you?
I don't think he did. I think the government poisoned my dogs.
Really?
I think the government killed that gentleman.
Okay, so you think it was something
That's
just
what
set
I
up?
believe, but that.
Yeah. As in, do you think it was they did it in an attempt to frame you?
Well, in an attempt to get me legally to get me into a police station for questioning, because once they do that, in Belize, they can legally hold you for 60 days, renewable an infinite number of times forever. Wow. Meaning, once you get in for questioning, they can legally hold you forever in prison. So I wasn't about to submit to that. End of story.
The craziest part of that story is when you were in Guatemala after you left Belize, and your lawyer told you that he was going to file an appeal by 3 p.m. and you realized that they could extradite you up until that time. So you decided to fake a heart attack so that you couldn't be.
It was more plain than that. He had come into my cell. This was my second day, my first morning in the Guatemalan jail, with a judge, actually a young blonde girl, but she only had the power to issue a stay, meaning issue that I could not be deported, I could not be sent back to Belize up until noon. That's all the powers that she had. He could not file his brief until 3 p.m. There was a 3-hour lag. So he came to my cell and said, would you like instructions? And I go, no, sir, I think I've got this. I understand. He said, are you sure? I said, yes, I got this. Because I didn't want to tell him what I was going to do. So at 10 minutes till noon, I fell over on my face in the cell, busted my nose, whatever, and went into convulsions. They rushed me to the hospital. The soldiers came to the hospital to take me to the fucking border. The doctor said, as of not, he's under our care. At 3 p.m. or just after, I was said, I feel much better now. I want to go back to my cell. That was all that story was about.
Oh man, that's at what point did you decide to fake the heart attack? Was that an option you had in the back of your mind, or did that just occur to you in the moment?
Well, as soon as he said there was a 3-hour period, well, I figured I knew where I was. I'm in Guatemala. They do have an actual legal system that, you cannot just rip someone out of the hospital. It was an obvious choice. I don't know what my lawyer had in mind. He was going to advise me, but I didn't want anybody else involved. So I said, no, I've got to.
What?
Afterwards, he came to me. Now, this is Celestro Guerra. He was the ex-attorney general for the country of Guatemala. Very famous lawyer, lots of American clients. He came in and said, I have never had an American client quite like you, Mr. McAfee. I go, well,
Yeah.
very good.